Hello everyone! Let's spend today's episode talking about how to do interactions. Now, when the player, for example, tries to switch on a lamp using a switch or opening a door or anything. I will show you two different ways of doing it. Firstly, I will start with something I've seen a lot of people do, which I will call the simple way. And then I will extend it into a much better way of doing it. So let's start with the simple way. Here in Unity, I have already created a scene and imported I built the buildings using the Pro Builder and imported the standard assets. So I will be using the first person character controller. If we play, we can see that we have a building over here and there are two switches. They don't do anything at the moment. And we will make them do something. So let's go to the switches and see what we have here. We are just two cubes with colliders on, created with the Pro Builder. So that's why they have these components over here. Nothing to care about. And I have also put in a point light in the scene. And what we will do is to make this switch here, toggle on this lamp, this light, toggle it on and off, and then we will make this switch opening this gate which has an animation on it, so it will slide open. Okay, let's start with the player controller. Let's go to our scripts folder and create a script. Call it player controller. Before we're doing that, I just remember we should create a cursor or a crosshair so that we know where the player is looking. At the moment we don't know anything about where it's aiming. So let's create it. It's actually really easy. We just create a UI element, an image. Then we change to the game mode so that we see where the image is. We can scale it down to turn the width and height to 2 perhaps. Maybe that's a bit small, maybe not. We can try it. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's go with 5 so that it's visible. Great, now we know where we are pointing. Then we can create one more crosshair for the event cursor, we can call it, which will be shown when we are hovering over something that is interactable. Let's create an empty game object, call it event cursor, and inside of it we will put a few images. First one, let's say 10 and 5. Oh, 5, 10. Move it a bit to the left. I mean. Perhaps -10. Make it 15 high. Then we duplicate it and turn it on the other. Move it to the other side. And then let's create a text as well. UI text. We will only write E, which will be the interacting button. So it will tell us to click on E when we are to interact with something. Put it up to 16. Center. Turn the color to white. And then move it up a bit. Alright. Like this. So we will start by disabling this event cursor and only trigger it, enable it when we are hovering on an interactable object. So now we can go inside of our player controller. Okay, so the first thing we will be doing is to cast a ray from the middle of the screen into the world so that we know what we are hovering. Let's do it in our update method. Create a variable. raycast hit. And then make an origin point where we shoot it out from. 2, 3, origin, ray origin equal to, this is from the camera.main, our main camera, then viewport to world point. So from our screen, we want to send out from the middle of our screen and then translate it into Unity world. So the middle of our screen will be in new vector 2, and then 0.5 and 0.5. Like this, and then we will shoot it out. Okay, now you shoot it out. Dot raycast from our ray origin. In what direction? In the direction of camera.main transform forward. And then we will save the information in our hit variables, out hit. And then we will shoot it out for distance. Let's call it max distance. And we only want to detect the interactable layer mask. So interaction layer. Let's create these two variables. Make it a serialized field for the max distance. Private float max distance. Set it equal to 2 to begin with. And serialized field private layer mask interaction layer. Alright, and I see here that we are using the camera main reference 2 times, so we can do like this instead. Camera main camera equal to camera.main, and instead using the main camera here and here. Great. Okay, let's now see if our raycast is hitting something. So we want to see if it's hitting something with interaction layer. So if our hit.collider is not equal to null, so if we did hit an object, then we will do something here. And if we didn't hit something, we'll do something else here. And the thing we want to do is to first activate our event cursor. Let's make another variable for it. Serialize field private game object event cursor. Then here we set event cursor dot set active equal to true. And likewise down here we set it to false instead. Okay, let's go back inside Unity. Minimize this and go to your FPS controller. Attach the player controller to the player. And remember, this is just a basic player controller. Now you can attach this script to your real player controller or another script if you want, for interaction specific. Just keep the max distance at 2. Set the layer mask. We need to create a layer for our interacting objects. Let's create a layer. Interaction layer. Interaction. Or interactable. It's better. Interactable. Everything we want to interact with needs to go into this layer now. So let's go inside and we put these two switches to it. Ping switch will have the interactable layer. It will ask if you want to do the childs of this, move the childs of this object into the layer as well. For our case, we actually don't want to do this, and I will show you later why. For now, press no, and do the same for the other switch or other element, everything else that you want to be able to interact with. Alright, when you're done setting everything, every interactable object to the interactable layer, you can go back to the player and change the interaction layer to interactable, and then move the event cursor into the event reference. Like that. Now, if you are close enough and hovering over something that is interactable, the event cursor should show. Like this, you see? Perfect. Great. Now we can go ahead and create the actual functionality of the switches. So let's create a script for the orange switch and one more for the pink switch. Let's start with the pink switch. And the pink switch, what we want it to do is to turn on and off this lamp for each click. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. You need a reference to the light. Let's create it first. Serialize field, private light, and then create a method here that is public, because we want to access this method from the player controller. Public void toggle light. Oh, I just received the text. So we're checking if the light, every time we're clicking on the switch, we should go inside the toggle light, and light.enabled is equal to light.enabled. So this means that if the light is on, then it will be turn off the next time, and vice versa. If it's off, then it will turn on. So this is all we need for this. Let's go back into Unity. Assign the pink switch script to the pink switch. Drag the light into the reference of the light, and then from the player controller we need to call on this method. Okay, so now we want to interact with the pink switch. So if we are hovering over it, and then we should check for a player input, input.getKeyDown, and we'll check for the E button, which will be our interaction button. If we're pressing on the E, then we will interact with the object, and we'll send it the hit.collider.game object. Let's create this method. Private void interact game object hit object. And as this is the simple interactions variant that I will show you, we will do the figuring out what object we are interacting with inside of the player controller. So here we will check if the hit object.name is equal to pink switch. And remember, you could use tags or some other method of recognition here. You choose for yourself, but this is one way. And then if we are targeting the pink switch, then we will take the hit object.getComponent, get the pink switch component from the pink switch object, and on it run the toggle light method. Alright, let's go back inside Unity and try it out. Now if I press on the E button on the pink switch, the light should turn on. Oh, perfect. And then again turn off for each click I do. Okay, remember I told you not to let the children of this get the layer interactable as well. Let's try why. So if I set the child, the cube child, to interactable as well, let's see what happens. The cursor behavior is still as it should, but what happens if I press on the child object, the black switch? Nothing. It only works when I press on the pink. And that is because it is the pink switch object that has the pink switch script, not the cube itself. So if we turn this into default layer, then the raycast will go right through the black part and hit the purple on the pink on that is beneath it. So it will work as you're intending. Great. Now let's add the functionality for the orange switch as well. Goes to the orange switch script, and this will do something similar, except in this we will trigger an animation on this gate or wall or whatever. Let's call it gate. So serialize field private game object gate. Then in we will create a method. Remember public again, because we need to access it from the play controller. Public void open close gate. And we will be doing, we need a boolean for this to note if the gate is open or not. So private bool is open, and it's false to begin with. And here inside, if is open, then we will close it. I have put a trigger in the animator, so we need to get the animator referenced. Animator. So animator dot set trigger, and I've already put a trigger over there that is called, I think, close. Need to check it. Let's go back to Unity, double check it. Press on the gate, go to the animator, close door open. Let's rename this open close. Right, we will close it, and then too much. If it is closed, then we will instead open it. And finally, we need to actually get the reference to the animator as well. So in the awake method, animator equal to, and remember the animator is sitting on the gate, not on the torch, on the switch. Gate dot get component animator, like that. Then let's go back to the play controller, and if instead of the pink switch we are hitting the orange switch, so hit object dot name is equal to orange switch. Let's get the component called orange switch and run the open close gate method. Great, now let's go back to Unity. Okay, so let's try it out. Move. The pink switch is still working, and if I press on the orange switch, you can see that the gate is opening. Not closing though. And let's go back to the orange switch script and see why it's not closing. And we can see that it's because we are not setting the open variable, changing it. So when we're opening the door, we should set is open equals to true. And when it's closed, we should set, wrong. It's closed here, false. Is open equal to true. Now it should work. Let's go back. Let's see. Pressing it opens and closing, opens and closing. Great. Now this was the simple way of doing it, and let's go back and see what we actually did or how we have done it. So in the player controller, we are now checking what object we are interacting with, and depending on the object's name, in this case, we are running different methods. And what happens if we have 10 or more different interactable objects? Then this list will increase so fast and it will become so ugly. So let's, in the next part, create another interactable model that is much nicer to use, and we won't be needing this anymore. So see you again in the next part where I will show you this. Bye bye.